It started during the pandemic, really. As COVID was in its early days, people were already protesting any basic medical maneuver to try to slow down the virus. And I was frustrated by that and wanted to counter protest, but I'm immunocompromised, so I couldn't go out in public at that point in time. The thing that popped in my head was airplane banner, like at the beach. So I hired an airplane to counter protest. They were protesting lockdowns at the time. They'd go on to protest masks and vaccines and all sorts of other things. So I hired this plane and it said, "Fewer graves if we reopen in waves, science saves." Although the airplane company forgot to put the science saves on there. But so I hired the airplane company to do that, and they flew the counter protest over the protesters. And it was rather hilarious because they actually cheered the plane at first, and there's video footage of them cheering the plane. They think it's theirs, and then somebody's like, "That ain't us, bro." That was really successful, and it motivated me to expand the campaign and engage with it. So I reached out to my friend Robin Blumner at Center for Inquiry, and we decided to partner together on this, and that's what started this whole thing. My wife is a cancer survivor, and she was actually given a 5% chance to live. I was told point blank, just she wasn't going to make it. Be prepared, accept that reality, and maybe you'll get lucky. And we got lucky somehow, and she survived, and it was because of medical science. It was because of the researchers who had learned about this cancer and learned how to deal with it, which is basically cut it out as soon as you can. The scientists who created radiation therapy, and they saved her life through extraordinary measures. And I'm super appreciative of that. Me, myself, I'm also personally immunocompromised, and I get these amazing infusions I put in my belly every 2 weeks. They literally are like spun down from the blood of like 10,000 people's plasma, and they take out the immunoglobulins, and I replace my immunoglobulins with those. I mean, how crazy cool is that? So I basically replace my broken immune system through science. It's incredible. I used to be sick all the time, like all the time. And now I'm a pretty healthy buck for the most part. The ScienceSaves is specifically designed to promote science from a positive perspective and to really focus on gratitude for the past that science has brought us, truth about the current future, what works and what doesn't for saving us, and hope for the future, because even things that are untreatable today could be treatable tomorrow with all the advancements that are coming through. It seemed important to focus on that gratitude concept in particular because it's such a powerful emotion. It's something that humans often just kind of skip over or feel briefly and move on. I feel like there's frankly a war against science, and I think it's been going for thousands of years, frankly. Galileo, they did used to burn scientists at the stake if they spoke heresy. I feel like this is still going on today. People still like attack science. They, go after like basic stuff like polio vaccines. Like we're seeing a resurgence in polio of all things because of this undermining of science. And I thought maybe if we approach it from a way of promoting gratitude, helping people, particularly kids, think about not just like science in terms of class, going to science class and the books and stuff, but in terms of how does it really impact your life? How is it really influencing you? Can we kind of give science help give it a good name, help tie it to people's emotional experiences, not just their intellectual thoughts? If you don't know anything about ScienceSaves, I'd say first go to the website, ScienceSaves.org. Of course, our National Science Appreciation Day, March 26th each year, in honor of the day Jonas Salk first announced positive test results for the polio vaccine, which was game-changing. Polling showed that the thing parents were most afraid of in the 50s was nuclear war, followed by polio. So we luckily don't have to worry about that right now. But if you have kids who are unvaccinated for polio, you do have to worry about it. It is circulating in New York. there are paralytic cases of polio in New York again. So get vaccinated. We also have the great teacher resources that we talked about earlier with free lesson plans online. And we have our video contest that we host every year for students for scholarships. And we just finished an image contest, which is also for scholarships that got completed. So those are kind of the big projects that we have going, but also year round, we have our social media, which you can follow, and we create animated videos, educational animated videos that we try to make humorous to keep them entertaining. So we have some on the value of vaccines, one about debunking homeopathy in order to encourage people to go get real evidence-based medicine, and we have a couple more in the works. So easy as a human to get caught up in worries about the future or sadness about something you've lost in the past. But I'm trying to be the kind of person who really focuses a lot on the present moment, and when not thinking about the present moment, tries to reframe things in terms of gratitude and happiness for the past, even for trying to find a way to not replace the sadness for the losses and the people who are gone, but to kind of supplement that sadness with gratitude for the time we had and all those amazing experiences we enjoyed together. I'm working on that as a person, just trying to, you see a picture of somebody who's passed away. I'm trying to help reframe pieces of it in my head of like, wow, I'm really happy I had that person in my life. Honestly, the thing that's probably changed most about me, and this is really personal, but why not? I've been really focusing on improving myself and helping overcome my generalized anxiety disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder, actually. And I've been doing a lot of therapy, and specifically, I about a year ago switched over at the recommendation of my CBT therapist who was doing ACT therapy. I switched over to DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy, which is a type of therapy that essentially focuses on teaching mindfulness of the present moment, emotional regulation, and distress tolerance. And it's been really, really helpful. It's a type of therapy that is rooted in a lot of research. And with psychology, it's kind of a early science. So psychology is a tough one because I'm such a passionate believer in science and what has been proven, but a lot in the world of psychology we're still figuring out. So in 100 years, if you have anxiety, they'll just run a blood test and be like, hey, here is the exact pill that fixes your imbalance of subclasses of serotonin. But we don't have that now. Right now, it's a medication lottery. You have a condition, depression, anxiety, something like that. They throw a pill at you and hope it works. And if it doesn't, they switch to a different closely related pill, which somehow works totally different. And we don't understand why yet. Whereas psychology is still in some ways a pseudoscience, it's come a long way. And we've learned a lot since like the 80s, where it was really just kind of Freudian talk therapy and the like. And this DBT therapy is the best therapy I've had so far, and it's very skills related. It's really more about teaching. Honestly, it's really more about teaching you things you can do that are proven to work. How many times did I worry something horrible was going to happen and it went just fine? Like, there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope there. A lot of the times things do work out. And then we've got science helping fix all these things. There's more hope than you even realize. It's like you look at the numbers and it's like, oh, this thing has a 50% survival rate. No, that's based on, a study that was published 2 years ago based on, 10 years of research, and it's 5-year survival rates. This is looking at treatments that were in place like 7-10 years ago. We've got new stuff even since then that we haven't even published the data on. yet that they're currently using and seeing success with. Science is learning. Obviously, the best bet is going with peer-reviewed published materials, but science is learning, it's updating, it's being tried right now in real time in hospitals. There's stuff out there that you go online, you don't even know about, but the doctors do. And so I think that can give a lot of hope to people in a moment of crisis and fear. If you look back over the last few thousand years, but particularly since the scientific method really kind of took root over the last few hundred years, the rate of advancement for humanity is rather incredible. I mean, it's really, truly mind-blowing, the rate at which we're improving and solving issues and solving time to a degree. Like, time moves forward at a steady pace, unless you're moving close to the speed of light. But technically, but time moves along at a steady pace. But we have found ways through science to not only save lives, but save time. I mean, just the automobile, air travel, like, saves families. Like, if somebody moved over the ocean in the past, that was it. Bye. Like, we'll get a few letters, but that was goodbye forever, basically. And now it's like, well, we'll just jump on a plane and go see them, or we'll jump on an internet call and talk to them face to face. It's like, science has provided us these things, and there's so much coming with individualized medicine in particular. That one is just like, I think that one really gets me in terms of hope. It's like, we're literally finding ways to program viruses to go in and alter people's DNA to fix errors. First of all, science figured out those errors in the first place. People had no idea. We used to think it was like ghosts and possessions and whatever. They're like, no, it's basically germ theory and problems with our immune systems, or and problems with our genetics that lead to a huge percentage of what goes wrong with us. And we're getting personalized medicine where your exact DNA is going to be able to be fixed. I don't know if that'll be there for my lifetime, but my kids, my grandkids get a cancer. It's entirely possible they'll be able to just go in and be like, oh, well, you have, pancreatic 3BC. And so, give us 2 weeks and we'll whip up an injection in the lab and just solve your genetic defect, and that'll be the end of that. It's exciting, the stuff that's coming down the pipeline. It really is. First of all, stop sitting on the fence. It's really uncomfortable. It does not feel good to sit on a fence. I've tried to avoid it whenever I've could. One side of the fence is filled with hope and truth. Like, the science is the best way to find out what is true in the natural world. And the other side is filled with guesses and wishful thinking. And sometimes, and I understand, sometimes wishful thinking can feel really good. It really can. But it doesn't mean it's true, and it's unlikely to lead to advancements. Science has led to almost all of the great advancements of humanity that save us time, connect us to people, save lives. If you have a medical emergency in particular, follow the advice of science-based medical professionals. Do not follow the advice of people who are not based in medical science, or you are going to dramatically lower your chances of survival. Just facts. I've definitely been thinking much over the last year or two about how there's so many conspiracies out there, and so many people fall for all this misinformation and crazy stuff like, vaccines are a conspiracy to kill your kids and ridiculousness. And I keep thinking about the fact that there's a lot of real conspiracies out there that are actually real, like provable, clearly real conspiracies. Like, the anti-vax movement is a conspiracy. It's clearly a conspiracy. It's like they're claiming everything else is a conspiracy. They're the actual conspiracy. It's like, oh, we've got all these conspiracies about this and that. Like, no, there's real stuff. Like misinformation coming from foreign countries is real conspiracies. That's really happening. Foreign governments are paying to misinform the American public, and people are so not worried about it. But it's really happening. It's interesting to me how there can be like really obvious documentable conspiracies happening and people ignore them in favor of the silly, completely lacking in evidence conspiracies. If you want to learn more, I'd go to ScienceSaves.org. Our YouTube channel is ScienceSaves.org, and without the dot. And those have great resources on them. And then from there, Uncle Google, but find things that are based in science, peer-reviewed journal articles or places that rely on peer-reviewed journal articles. Don't trust the expert, trust consensus of experts. So just because one doctor says that taking horse dewormer is going to help you with COVID, what does the consensus of experts in the field say? Go find what that is, and that is the best way to go find how, things that are most likely to be true and helpful. I would love to see people randomly posting to social media ways in which science impacted them with ScienceSaves tagged or hashtagged on social media. I would love to see that happening spontaneously. That would just be really world class. Like right now, that happens, but it's usually through us prompting or asking or encouraging, or for National Science Appreciation Day specifically. But it would be great to see people unprompted posting their success stories, posting how science saved their grandmother, posting like there was a car accident and I thought it was over, but they not only saved my child, but he kept everything. He's going to be fine. Like, I would love to see those kind of like, thank you to the doctors who made this happen. Thank you to the researchers who figured out the technologies to make this work, hashtag ScienceSaves. I think we do have the chance to get that to be something that trends online and people see and pops up in their feeds and they go, oh, wow, that's a cool idea. I like that. I'm going to share my story of gratitude, because that story of gratitude in turn gives hope to other people. I think some of the things we're going to be doing with students with Bertha will be really cool, as we already have these amazing teacher resources online for free for teachers to use, but I think currently they're being utilized, but they're underutilized. It would be awesome, and I think very plausible, to connect more with the teacher community so that each year on Science Appreciation Day, teachers are in their classrooms teaching kids to appreciate science using our free lesson plans. I think we're going to keep reaching out to students in particular more, because if we can help instill that gratitude young, it helps give them hope, and then I think makes them more resilient to anti-science messages later if they have a vested interest in, wait a minute, they're talking bad about science here, but that's what's part of giving me my hope for the future. So hopefully that provides some level of resistance.